There, you mentioned something when you came in, and some people are forthcoming with it. I felt like you were okay with it, but you were like, "I've been here over a decade."
Yeah.
What time?
Yeah, it was 11 years yesterday.
11 years yesterday.
Yep.
Okay. How old are you when you came in?
17.
Tried as an
Adult.
adult,
Yep.
as a 17-year-old.
Yep.
Is that allowed in Utah?
Yes.
Okay.
They, one of the fellow people when I got here, she got tried at 14 and she was thrown in the prison at 14.
Okay.
And our co-defendant was thrown in at 15.
Okay.
Sad.
Wow. 17. First time in prison at 17?
Yep.
Juvie before that?
No.
Nothing. Okay.
Nothing.
What's the charge?
So, I'm on manslaughter and aggravated robbery and aggravated assault on a police officer
Okay.
with some other charges.
All in the same
Same case.
case?
Yep.
And how long did they give you?
Well, at first, they wanted to give me 27 years, and then I won my appeal, and then I went back and took a plea deal, and I have my rehearing in December of this year.
Okay. What was the plea?
Instead of, because I was originally on aggravated murder, attempted aggravated murder, discharge of firearm, 2 of them, and I can't remember the other one, and I won my appeal on all of them. So I just pled to my 2 115s, which is manslaughter and aggravated assault on a police officer.
They run concurrent, consecutive?
All consecutive.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. You've been at this facility for how long?
9.5 years.
Okay.
Because I did about 1.5 years in county and like 3 weeks in juvie.
Okay. What's the goal?
I like to use the term, what's the vision?
Right. What's the vision?
In here or out there?
Both.
In here, I just want to become, over the years,
What happened?
over the years, I've tried to just stay to myself. And then that way, I didn't get into the drama and stuff, but it's helped me, but it's negatively, like, not benefited me because I have a hard time communicating with people.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to, I just get like kind of socially awkward. And I try not to be. And so it's hard because it's like I can't, and I'm starting to realize that I can't be like this when I go out there in the world. Like I need to learn how to talk to people. Like I need to be okay. Like I can't just be nervous. Like I can't just run back to my room like where I feel more safe, like I can't do that. And that has been my biggest challenge is like trying to bring
in here, or was it were you always kind of introverted?
Always introverted.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to like talk to people more, like help them, like try and be like more of a positive leader and stuff. And it's been a struggle, but I'm slowly being able to get there.
Cool. I like that. Do you have programs in here that you're doing?
Yeah, so I am with the University of Utah.
Okay.
So it's a Utah prison education program.
Okay.
I'm doing education advocates right now. So it is a one-stop shop, and it's the first one in the whole nation. That's a tutoring center within walls.
Ooh.
And we're starting it on Monday. And we're going to be tutoring people, whether that's with high school, college courses, life skills, simply like writing a board to the an essay to the board, whatever you need. Like we are trying to help people prepare for that, and we eventually want to help people like do resumes and job interviews and stuff like that. Like that is our goal.
Cool.
But it's just starting, and that is one thing that I love doing right now. Yeah,
that's right. You want to take that on the outside? What's the goal on the outside?
I want to get my bachelor's in engineering. I don't know exactly where at yet. And then I want to get a degree in animal behavior, and I want to do dog training.
Engineering and dog training.
Mhm.
Okay. That's interesting. How do they fit together?
So I grew up with a dad that has been in a wheelchair my whole life.
Okay.
And
a wheelchair.
Yeah, he's almost permanently bound. He's now, but he not just that, one of my victims, well, a lot of my victims actually were police officers, and one of them passed away. And with that, I want to give back to the community. So when I first came here, I didn't really care about how I did my time that much. Like, I wasn't out getting in trouble a lot, but I didn't feel like I had a reason to move. And there was a dog program here, and you were able to train dogs,
Mhm.
and they gave the dogs to veterans.
Mhm.
And the day I found out that one of the dogs I trained, he got paired up with his veteran. It was the first night, and they made instant connection. And he woke his veteran up because his veteran fell asleep without CPAP on, and could have died. And knowing that I was able to help that dog be able to have the basic commandments and to help that veteran, but not also like you can't train that connection with the dog and a veteran, like you can't. And just that dog like being his personality, but helping him like come from a shelter and find his confidence back and go out there and help someone like that, to me is like irreplaceable. Like, you can't pay for that.
Mhm.
You can't. And that right there, knowing I was giving back to the community, I affected so bad,
Cool.
honestly, like helped me feel like I finally had a reason to live. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't want to
Therapeutic.
yeah, like I didn't want to like I mainly stopped my suicide attempts here and stuff. Like, I really felt like I could give back to the community more positively.
Mhm.
And with that, they got rid of the dogs during COVID, and then they told us we were gonna have the program here, but that's never happened.
Mhm.
And now I'm just like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, no matter what, I'm going to do it out there. Like,
So
whether
why
it's
engineering?
um, so I love school. Um, I love uh, I love learning how things work,
Okay.
whether that's electrical or just the mechanics of it, physics of it, the science of it. I just like to invent things and build things and see how they work, and like how like one little gadget can like, change the whole world. Like, I like that side of it.
Interesting. Okay. You see yourself working for somebody, or do you see yourself doing the dog gig?
I want to do both.
Okay. Cool. What's the other goal?
Um, I want to be a dad when I have kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. You have any now?
No.
Okay. Very fun. You have a partner though.
Yes.
Very cool. And hopefully your partner will see this.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Right. Okay. Are they on board?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Never know. You just say worth a shot.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. And you met that person here.
Yes.
Very cool. And they're doing well.
They're doing amazing, and
How come?
she just wants better. You know what I mean? And she's had people in her life that have never helped her see to be able, like, she could feel like she can be her authentic self with, you know what I mean? And I think when I showed up and like I met and she knew, I identify as a trans man and I'm open about it. And I think that once she's seen that, and once we talked about like long term like goals and dreams and like things we want to accomplish in life, they just like mesh together. And with that, I think that I hope that I inspire her and help her. She helps me to just keep on doing good.
Very cool. I love that. How long have you said trans man? How long does that?
So I've been out for about 6 years, and I've been on hormones for about 4. I had to fight the prison to get on them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
How was that process here? Let's transition.
it's hard.
How come?
Because you have people out there like they want to call you by like she pronouns. Like, I call it my dead name, but it's my legal name. And they don't want to respect you as a person, but they're quick if they need something to be like, oh, hey, Dakota, will you help me with this? You know what I mean? And at first it was really hard for me, and I let it affect me a lot. But then I just got to the point I knew coming out wasn't going to be easy. And it just came to the point, I don't care what other people think about me. Because if I care about what other people think about me, I'm just going to be living their lives.
Cool.
And it just came to that point that I just want to be me. You know what I mean? Like no one else, like you're not living in my shoes. You know what I mean? Like you don't deal with my struggles. Like let me be me and like worry about yourself. In like a rude sense, like that's just how I feel. And it's hard. You know what I mean? But it's nice though because there are some women and stuff that do come to me and they're like, hey, like I just found out like my kid is transitioning, like my kid wants to be this gender, identifies as this or this. And they're like, how can I help? You know what I mean? And it's nice to be like, you wanna know what? Like I wish my parents did this for me when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Are your parents still around?
Yes.
Together?
No.
Okay. They supportive?
My mom is. I think my dad kind of has a little bit of a struggle with it, but he's coming around to it.
They supportive of you like here?
Yes.
Very cool. You get visitation?
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. What questions do you have for me?
A lot.
Go.
Okay. When you got out of the fence, you said, what did you like? What did you be like? Oh, I'm gonna go do this first, or like what? Or was it more of like, okay, like I need to get my life back on track, like business wise, or was it like just like personal?
No, I never felt like my life was off track, I guess you could say. You know, I when I come in and speak inside prisons, so my dad was a heroin addict. My dad was a notorious gang member. And so I view that as an opportunity. So because of what I saw it create, I never did it. And so when I come in and speak in prisons, I tell people flat out, I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never had a drink of alcohol. And the reason I tell you that is because I can't relate. I can't relate to AA, I can't relate to NA. And so the last thing I want you to think that I am is like this inauthentic guru who's like, oh, I can fix all that. That's all BS. Doesn't exist. So I don't come in and pretend like, oh, let me walk you through the 12-step program. I don't even know what the fourth step is. So why lie to you about it, right? So for me, my life was never quote unquote off track because I didn't go down this like deep, dark path. Like I quite literally didn't pay a $3 million fine. Like, okay, move on. And the rules that applied back then they're not even in existence anymore in terms of prison time. So for me, it wasn't really getting it back on track. For me, it was entirely focused on how do I turn this mess into a message. Like I'm in the nicest, most politically correct way to say this, like stereotypes exist for a reason. And my best friend and I have this conversation all the time. And the felon stereotype exists because typically it's true, right? Like the reason 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 come back is because most of them are idiots. And most of them have this identity crisis inside of them. And most of them don't want to just own up to the fact that like, no matter whether I get this Bentley or not, it's not going to fix the 13-year-old boy inside of me that still needs a dad.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay and have always been okay, like unpacking this type of stuff. And kind of like a God-given natural thing that I have. I'm genuinely curious about why some people will go to counseling for a day. My good friend Mark quits smoking when he chooses to. Like doesn't you know, and have all these fall offs and all these lame excuses. He's like, nope. And people will tell you that's like the hardest thing to quit, you know, other than, you know, a couple other things. But point being is like, how do people make a change immediately, instantaneously, and choose it and move on? And whether it's mental, physical, emotional, financial, spiritual, all of those things can happen immediately. We just choose to have secondary gain typically. So a lot of people have secondary gain. Oh, the reason that I went to prison is because I felt more comfortable there. You hear that all the time. Oh, I got 3 hots and a cot. I was okay there. I don't have to worry about the electric bill, the power bill. I don't have to worry about the rent. All these BS excuses. So for me, I just enjoyed, okay, if there was 30%, and these are round numbers, they're not scientific. If there's 30% of people who I felt deserved to be in prison, round number, and then there's 30% of people who I felt were genuine victims, genuine. And so wrong place, wrong time. And we were just talking before this with a gentleman who was playing around with a gun, shot his friend, and his friend died. those are sad, sad circumstances, right? So like those people over here, they don't need to be, I wouldn't say they don't need to. I would say they have a less desire to be like a 12-step program because they're not here for those reasons. So you have 30 over here, 30 over here. So you have this middle of the road that I thought, you know what, if I can change 40% of the world, you know, and then I can change that trajectory, that was where I was focused. And so for me, my story is not fun and exciting or sexy. I didn't knock over the MGM on fight night. You know, like it wasn't a notorious kingpin in Guadalajara. Like nothing cool, in my opinion. But my story drops everybody else's guard. My story drops everybody else's veneer. And so as long as I'm comfortable telling my story over and over and over, it allows me to kind of like reframe how people view their own trauma, their own world. And if I can do that, and I'm supposed to do that, well, then that's why God gave it to me to keep telling, so that I can come into places like this. And hopefully the four of you can then go back to your cells, go back to your units, and you guys can take little tiny pieces of my armor and put it on yours and start to impart it to other people. And then little by little by little by little, you find that 40% of the people, and then we can change the world. So I wasn't really focused on life getting back on track. I wasn't even focused on this. Like this little tiny nonprofit was supposed to be tiny. It wasn't supposed to be in 28 states and wasn't supposed to be the what it is now, you know? I mean, so it's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing. It's amazing. But that's why for me, I really, and you probably heard me before, and that's my advice to everybody, whether on this side or the other side, focus gets you places that motivation will never take you. Motivation is like a warm bath. Motivation is like a good idea. But like then the bath goes away and you're like, the water's gross.
Yeah. It's true.
Right. So like now, especially in this joint, so then it's like, then you need like drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where especially the female population that I talk, and I even told my guys this before this, it's a blessing for me to talk to the female population. It's very tough for me. I grew up with a single mom. You know, I grew up with this, you know, dad who was a complete psychopath. And so my mom did things. My mom delivered pizza. My mom, you know, when we would go to bed at night, we slept in our van. You know, my mom tried to get my dad off of heroin. You know, on and on and on. All these things, like these massive. I should be on tomorrow's episode of Jerry Springer. But when I look at all of you, I see this portion of my mom. And so part of me like coming back in is like, well, if my mom can deliver pizzas and my mom can get her degree and my mom can go become a teacher and my mom can raise 4 kids, the 4 of us, you know, other than myself, the black sheep, the 4 of us, you know, all married, all happy, all successful, all with kids, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that all came from this broken home. Well, then how do I just reframe that? I think we use a lot of these monikers, all these acronyms, anxiety, depression, ED, whatever, man. Like, let's really talk about it, you know? And so I'm not a real fan of coddling individuals into saying like, oh, you had a really tough life. Congratulations. I talk to athletes all the time, and you get 2 brothers or you get 2 cousins, and the one brother's like, well, the reason I'm in prison is because my dad was a crackhead and my mom was a hooker. And the guy who's starting on the Lakers is like, the reason I'm in the NBA is because my dad was a crackhead and my mom was a hooker. Ready, go. Like, so that's my same story, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm forceful about it because I'm living it. I'm living it. I sat in prison writing. I still have it. Number 2, janky ass pencil. Dixon Ticonderoga's, right?
That barely fits in your hand.
Oh my gosh, right? You're trying to like sharpen it.
Yeah.
And I like literally manifested. I was like, no, I'm going to be on stage telling the story. No, I'm going to tell the story around the world. Like I'm going to, and I never thought it would be like where it is now, because now it's a passion project, you know, and now it's like, I can genuinely change the world. And now when I'm driving in, and Mark and I are driving in today, and all 3 of my little girls are like, so stoked that I'm going to prison. Mark's 5-year-old boy, so stoked. Like, now we're just changing the world. Now we're changing generations. Like this is amazing. Yeah. Now, like I've already won the game. You know, now we just play for fun.
So, do you think that with your struggle of how you mentioned like living in a van and stuff, is that why like you're so strongly about like educating yourself in financial, so you didn't have to live that? Or do you think
it's a good question. It's a really good question.
Or do you think it's because you need money for everything in the world and you just wanted to give a better life to your kids?
I'm gonna tell you, I've been rich and I've been poor, and I'll take rich all day long. But like, So my drive, like my numbers drive, has always been something. So you said it's Dakota?
Yes.
Like Dakota.
Mhm.
So like I'll take your AADKOT. So I'll alphabetize your name. And so A is number 1. So you have 2A, so that's 2. D is number 4. You see what I'm doing with the alphabet, right?
Mhm.
So K is number 11. So I'll add up your name while I'm talking to you. It's just a numbers thing. So I've just been nuts about it.
Mhm.
And so like the way that my brain works has always been wired for finance. It's just God's gift, period, end of story.
Yeah.
And then I just happened to be really good in terms of how do I operate a business. I had some mentors along the way, and they would say we're business agnostic. Didn't understand what that meant when I was younger. Now I get it. Most business requires top line and bottom line. The rest of the in-between is where a lot of people get lost. So whether I'm increasing a top line on a puppy mill or I'm increasing a top line on a software company, it's just how much am I spending, how much am I making? So I didn't really get emotionally involved in it, so it allowed me to be really good at it.
Mm.
You get a lot of founders of companies that will come in and they get emotionally involved. It's worth this. Says who? You find that in real estate. Oh no, this kitchen's pretty. It's worth that. I don't like your kitchen. I'm gonna rip it out. It's not worth that.
Yeah.
So you get these emotional decisions. In business, I'm great because I don't have that emotional attachment. And that comes from me being poor. I'll always, because I know I bet on me.
Mhm.
I have a shirt that says bet on yourself. It's literally printed in 3 colors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I brought it with me. And so like that for me is where I always push people to. You're going to spend the next 10 years working for somebody and come out on the other side with a terrible pension and 40 pounds overweight and you hate your significant other. Well, then just spend the next 10 years working on yourself. Live here meagerly, enjoy waking up every day and enjoy waking up who you wake up next to.
Yeah.
But we're not taught that. Like we have to learn that. You find like I don't know, I love the gym. It's therapy for me. So you go to the gym every morning, you find the old guy and he's got the New Balance shoes on and like the white socks up to here and like the tiny orange shorts. Dude is comfortable.
Yeah.
Why do we have to wait till 78 to get there? You see me at the gym, bro, I look homeless. Scary. Comfy. Happy as a loving it. But it's like, why do we wait till we're 78 to have to figure all these things out? Why do we wait till 69 and a half in order to take retirement? Why?
Do you think it's because of how we're raised, or
Of course it's how we're
or do you
raised. We're
think it's
conditioned
because
to it.
we let society tell us we can't
I don't know if I buy into the whole society thing. I think for us, it's what we allow it. When you start to travel the world, we have it all backwards. When you really, really start to dive in, let me tell you the fisherman, the old guy in Mexico. I have a house in Mexico. I love the beach. Love the beach. Love. Did I mention that? Old fisherman story. American businessman goes down to Mexico, jumps on a sailboat with a Mexican fisherman. Mexican fisherman takes him out. They have this beautiful experience. They catch a couple fish. They catch a lobster. The Mexican fisherman grills it. American businessman goes, how many of these can you catch a day? Mexican fisherman goes, as many as you'd like me to catch. American businessman goes, can you get another boat? Yeah, I can get another boat. You have friends that could fish? Yeah, I have friends that could fish. Well, why don't you do that? No, because after I'm done with you, I want to take whatever leftover we have, I'm going to take it home to my family and spend time with my family. American businessman goes, no, you need to get the friend with the boat. Mexican guy goes, why do I need the friend with the boat? He said, so you can have more guys like me pay you money. He said, why would I have more guys like you pay me money? So you can get more boats, so you can employ your friends, so they can make more money. So, well, why would I get more boats and more friends? So that one day you can sell the boats, so that you can go spend time all day with your family. The American businessman spends all the time away from his family for this massive exit. The Mexican fisherman already had it figured out. Whatever excess I have, I go home with my family. That's the societal trap that we choose to live. So when you start to travel the world, you start to go to Asia, start to spend time in Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong, start to go to Mexico. Brazil takes off the middle of the day to go home for lunch. Their lunch is our dinner. Can't find a store that's open from 12 to 2 in Brazil. Mexico doesn't even open till 10. Got to get the kids to school. You start to change this dynamic of life. Like, what does it mean to you? It's inputs and outputs, my friend. What are we putting in? What are we allowing to get out?
Mhm.
What else?
So for people that are gonna watch this, like what is like maybe like a book or like the best advice you can give us to try and like fix our financial situation, or for the people that have never been able to have a credit score?
Oh, financial literacy? Oh, man.
Yeah.
I have an entire, it's on all of your tablets. I have an entire financial literacy curriculum on the tablets. Yeah. Yeah, the females aren't different than the males, are they? Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's double check. But anyhow, yeah, look, literally, my entire financial literacy curriculum is on there. Credit score, how to buy a vehicle. Now you're putting me on the spot and I can't remember anything. Retirement accounts, credit cards, FICO score, rental history, job employment. It's all on there. I've written all the curriculum. It's all on there. Videos too.
Mhm.
Videos. This guy. Hey, friends. No, it's all over the place. And so what's my biggest advice if you have time? So credit score is going to mean a lot, especially when you're in here. So everybody is entitled to a free credit report. So you go to freecreditreport.com. I link all 3 of the credit bureaus in my financial literacy course you can write to. They'll send you in your credit score, your credit report, so you can either say yes or no, that it's accurate or not accurate, and you can dispute it so that you can increase your credit score. Yeah, I mean, I have a whole entire curriculum. So yeah, they should. I'll figure out. I can't imagine women's different with men.
I'm so busy, so I usually don't get on the tablet.
Great, dive into the tablet.
Yeah.
Tons of literacy on there, tons. I have tons of interviews on there. I think they put up like a couple dozen interviews.
Okay.
So yeah.
So besides obviously breaking the law, but besides that, what is your one thing that like you wish that other people would have learned at a young age about money or finances?
You said obviously breaking the law. Walk me through that.
Like when you said that you went to the feds for a while for
Yeah. I don't regret
financial
that.
crimes, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Is there like what besides that, have you ever made other like mistakes or misjudgments about finances and stuff that you wish to be like, you know what, like if I would have told myself this when I was younger, it probably would have helped me a little bit more, or to be able to give that
No,
advice
I
to
think
someone
the
else?
biggest thing is compound interest. It's the reason I wrote that first book. I think, if you take an individual at like the age of 17 and they max out their Roth IRA or their investment accounts, their retirement accounts, and they go from 17 to 29 on the maximum, they can never put money in ever again until they turn 69. They'll be multimillionaires. But if that same person starts at 29 and goes to 49, they'll never, ever, ever make up the difference, even though they put in twice as much money, twice as much time. Compound interest is a real thing, massive, massive thing. A lot of people will quote you, annual interest rates like in the S&P of 6, 7, 8, 9% or whatever. We're in an economy right now that's just nuts. And so if you're playing the game right, my retirement accounts last year did more than 30%. Those are conservative. You know what I mean? Like those are just over there. So I think in terms of literacy of people, the best time to start investing was yesterday. And I think all of us have this idea that, you can make $1 million from your mom's basement and get 7-minute abs and all this other nonsense that social media has fed us.
Yeah.
And it's just not true. So the idea of compound interest is real. Like start today. You guys can all do it. You can go to Vanguard.com. You can open up a simple retirement account. You can have a beneficiary on the outside do it. And you can invest in literally what's called a target date retirement fund. Target date retirement fund just says, here's how old I am. Here's when I'm going to be able to legally retire. And they put you on this cycle that just allows you to be maximum risk at the lowest age. And then it mitigates the risk as you get older. Anybody can do it. Anybody, literally anybody. So like those, and you don't need a broker and you literally just do it from the computer. And so, Vanguard is a massive tool that's underutilized. If I would have started Vanguard, 10 years before I did, yeah, it would have been even better. Real estate, I'm heavy on real estate. For anybody who sees me, we own hundreds of houses at this point. The goal is 400 this year. I manifest it. That's why I say it.
Oh yeah. Do you do country or internationally too?
No, the stuff I have out of the country is just my play stuff. Yeah, in the country only. We do Section 8 real estate. It's very, very simple. It's very boring. But I've been to prison, so I like boring.
Yeah.
especially with my money. So yeah, I think real estate is where I would start with most people. And then second to that is I would go into some sort of retirement account
Yeah.
early and often.
Thank you.
Pleasure.